Hello there, everyone. How you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're reading stories from r/slash entitled Parents, where moms pressure their children to introduce their boyfriends to them, even though they don't want to. If you enjoy, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and let's get started, shall we? My Mother Wants $100 from a Dead Man. A bit of a dramatic title, but it's unfortunately true. My mother is an all-around wonderful woman. That doesn't keep her from being hard-headed and a stubborn son of a bitch, creating stupid arguments and sticking to her guns no matter how many times you explain that she's wrong. She passed that trait on to me, which means we butt heads every once in a while. This is one of those times. Keep in mind that this story was relayed to me over the course of my childhood. In the year of 2004, my parents announced their second pregnancy. My paternal grandfather, Bob, had 5 grandsons at this point, spread across his 3 kids. Since this would be the last baby of the generation, he pulled my mom aside and told her he'd give her $100 if she could give him his first granddaughter. Obviously, if she was going to give a birth anyway, it was a done deal. Fast forward, and my mom gives birth to me and my twin sister. We are fraternal baby girls. The first time my granddad visits her and his new granddaughters, he gives my mom a shiny $100 bill. She gets offended and tells him that this wasn't what they agreed on. She gave him 2 granddaughters. So surely that means he owes her $200 instead of the original $100. She had done double the work. The kids she had just popped out of were assholes. From here, the argument gets blurry because the story was recounted to me by my mom, a very biased commentary. I only ever heard her side of the argument. I was told that they bickered about it until the day he died, when I was about 4. When I grew old enough to understand the situation, I began arguing with my mom on Grandpa Bob's behalf. Here's how I see it. The deal was laid out as, you are currently pregnant. If this is my first granddaughter, I'll give you $100. Her end of the deal was delivered when she delivered the first granddaughter, and his obligations were fulfilled when he, true to his word, gave her the $100 bill. It stops and starts at the first granddaughter. Regardless, my mom swears up and down to this day, nearly 20 years later, that her father-in-law stiffed her years ago, and she just cannot get over it. Every time I think I've argued her into the ground in front of others, and she agrees I'm right, the next time it comes up, she acts like the previous discussion never happened, and suddenly the argument begins again. My current argument is that because I'm now a trans man, and he only truly ever had 1 granddaughter, my sister, my mom was still compensated the correct amount for the 1 girl she delivered. I think I win. Lol. I'm with you. Grandpa said $100 if she birthed the first granddaughter. And she did. He paid in full. No offer was made for additional money in case of twins, triplets, and so on. The mom can be irked for the good it will do her. 'Cause she is not getting money from a dead man. Advice. Mother-in-law uses daughter's death as a way to gaslight and guilt trip. Basically what the title says. My sister tragically passed 6 years ago. There are other issues at hand which I will post in the comments if asked. My 60 female mother has been using this fact as a way to guilt me into doing whatever she wants. This came to a head after I had my kids. When she visited after my wife, 31 female, had her son, she cast a shadow over the joy that should have been his birth, and made it about my sister's death anniversary. During the visit, she disrespected my wife and I's wishes, giving the pacifier and not pace feeding with bottle. She also made my wife cry several times. After this, we decided to try and lessen contact. Well, my wife unexpectedly got pregnant with DS at 5 months old. This time, we tried to better establish boundaries. My parents came over for a visit on Thanksgiving year of 23. My mother completely disregarded our wishes regarding our son and had a meltdown when my wife asked her not to do something, giving him candy right before dinner as an 11-month-old. They were also coughing when they visited and gave us COVID. After they left, we decided to ask they wait a few months to visit my daughter after she was born. Mom threw a fit of epic proportions, making this once again about my sister and blaming my wife for tearing up the family. She booked a trip and flew out anyways when my daughter was 5 weeks old. Wife wanted her to wait until DD had her first round of shots. Come to now, my daughter had her first birthday. My mother, not 1 minute later, put up a photo of my daughter on social media. Wife sent a polite message asking her to take the photo down. Mom threw a fit, said to my wife that the kids are my grandbabies. She does this every time my wife and her get into a disagreement, and got the rest of the family involved. My grandfather sent a nasty text saying,
"I was a terrible son, and how dare you do this to your poor mother after your sister's death anniversary? You're cruel to us. This is BS,"
and so on. This is where I might be an asshole, as my wife was to contact my mother about asking her not for a visit after my daughter's, as well as taking down the social media post. However, this doesn't excuse the lack of respect my wife and I receive regarding our children. I have been ignoring their texts as they won't like what I have to say if I do call them. My father just called and basically worded his last voicemail as,
"You will call."
I am over it, and I want to go no contact with them. Do I tell them I'm going no contact or just block them? My parents are crazy enough to book the next plane here or contact the police for a welfare check. I would say cut them off. You can send a quick text telling them why. Just state the facts. Keep feelings out of it. If you think your parents will call in a welfare check, call the non-emergency police line in your area and warn them of the possible false welfare check reports. Explain the situation and you want nothing to do with these people. It gives them a heads up at least. Also call CPS for your area and warn them there may be possible false reports made against you. And here's an update. Hey Reddit, this is the wife. Even after reading all of your replies, my husband is not going no contact with his mother, even though he told me he would after seeing what she has done to me and the kids. They kept calling and texting, getting his brother involved even. She, quote-unquote, apologized to him for his grandfather's text. I don't know what else was said. He said he was going to minimize contact with her. So yeah, I don't know what to do now. I understand not wanting to cut a parent off, but there is a point of distance. I am seriously contemplating if I want to deal with this woman for the rest of my life at this point. The disrespect and interference I can only take so much of. Can I navigate this marriage and never talk to her again, or is that impossible? I love my spouse, but this rolling over again and again to her sniffling and sobbing is killing me. My crying is met with whoos and reassurances, but he always crawls back to mommy. I don't want to leave and leave my kids to her whims, but I am thinking about it. Trying to be careful as I realize this is getting into r/marriage territory. I don't know where I'm gonna go with this update, but it wasn't what he promised he would do this time. I am sick of being his family's punching bag, but I seriously have no clue where else to go. Karen attempts to kick my whole team off the field. I'm just gonna let you know, it's not really our field as it's our club's, but we play for it, so I guess that makes it ours. I don't know. Anyway, my whole rugby team finally shows up for training. This has only happened 3 times, and we were getting ready for a game. That was really important. We already had our Wednesday night training, but we all decided to skip school for another day of training. Just don't ask us how we convinced our parents to do this. I accept this was not the smartest thing as we were all in year 9 at the time, but you can't blame us. We wanted to win this match. It was a grand final. Anyway, we had our equipment, we had the balls, and we had already done our warm-ups, and we're gonna get our attack and defense calls ready. Enter the Karen. Warning, we live in Australia, so this Karen swore a lot, and a few of us have short fuses, me especially. We had already split forwards and backs when she came up to us and started screaming at us, and our captain kept trying to de-escalate the situation. Here's the whole interaction.
Get the fuck off the field!
We all look at each other confused as hell. Why?
You're not supposed to be here! Fuck off to school now!
Ma'am, we have permission to be here.
Like fuck you too! Fuck off!
Ma'am, we just want to train. We're almost done, and if you let us be, we'll leave. Karen then leaves in a huff. Roman asks me, what the fuck was that about? I simply replied, I have no idea. Let's just finish our shit before she comes back. Forward and back training took 26 minutes, and we were all ready to leave when she came back with an aluminum bat and hit Maya on the head. What the fuck?
I told you to fuck off, so fuck off!
We are! Leave us alone, you crazy cunt! Karen kept threatening us with the bat, but then she proceeded to hit Jack in the knee, which wasn't good since he was one of our fastest forwards. Our captain tried to calm her down, but she hit him too. Before long, she ended up on the ground due to me punching her right in the face, and she was knocked out. You are crazy. Let's just hurry up and get Jack out of here. Good idea. MC, you carry his legs and I'll carry his arms. Yeah, you do that. Now let's fuck off. Luckily, Jack wasn't too badly hurt, but Mick and I had to carry him out of there, and we all sprinted our asses to the train station and got on the train to anywhere but there. Oh my god, you could fertilize an entire mega farm with this amount of bullshit. Holy shit! Police should have been called. In the US at least, Karen would have been arrested. But somehow I doubt the legitimacy of this story, but I'm not one to be like, hey, this is definitely fake, don't support it, but that's just what I suspect. On to the next story. My mom pressures me to introduce my boyfriend to her, but I don't want to. Firstly, I would like to say that I genuinely do love my mom. She supported me in almost everything, was there for me during my recent hard times, so I do not hate her or have any reason to. I am 22 years old, about to turn 23, but ever since I was little, I was very shamed for everything my family. My looks, what I enjoyed to eat, when I would get sweat stains on my shirt, my private journal that they found, my toys, so on, including my mom. And I feel like I grew up to be extremely private and secretive, avoiding any chance to get shamed again at all costs. Rarely, if ever, sharing details about my personal life, what I like, and so on. My mom has a habit of judging people extremely harshly and always finding a flaw in somebody. We could be walking on the street, a gorgeous girl passing us, and if I mentioned to her, wow, she's pretty, she would say,
Yeah, I don't know, her thighs are kinda big and her hair is so thin and her dress is ugly.
The worst part about it is she does it to my friends as well. I show her a group picture and she just starts judging every single thing about everyone in the picture. She'll make mean remarks to the face of my closest friends that she'd met plenty of times, such as mentioning many times how wrong a certain makeup looks on my friend's face. I still live with her, even though my biggest wish since I was a teenager has been to move out. I simply can't afford anything else right now, being a student. Because of this, I had always hidden every boy I've dated from my parents, especially my mom. When she did find out about somebody, she would not hesitate to deintegrate him as much as she could to my face. He could be the most gorgeous guy. She would always overly point out every small thing that she finds as a flaw. When she won't point out their looks, she'll find the smallest detail about their personality, over-exaggerate it, and make it seem like they're such a loser. For example, I would plan a vacation with my partner. She would say all his suggestions are cruddy, and we are very boring people, and that these were plans for trips to Marabella, Capri, Sarandenja, and so on. I have been dating my current boyfriend for a year and a half now. She found out when we were 2 months into our relationship, and ever since then she mentions how he's impolite and rude for not coming to meet her. It's not like he's a complete stranger to her. My brother and him were friends for many years, and they often hung out in the same group of friends. After a couple of months, while she constantly pressured me, I mentioned to her that I don't view meeting the parents as necessary right now, that I'm old enough to decide my life with someone for myself, and if I were to get to the point of being engaged with somebody, then yes, surely she would meet him. She got very angry and said this is not normal, that she will always need to meet them way before it gets to that point, that she finds it rude of me to hide them from her. I did not elaborate on why I'm doing it, but she did not stop complaining about not having met him. I simply do not want to hear her harsh, rude, and aggressive judging about my partner like she did with every partner or friend from the past. I do not want to give her the opportunity to mock anything about him to his face. Am I in the wrong here? Is it really that wrong to wait for things to get serious like engagement until someone gets to meet my parents? No, it's not wrong of you to protect yourself and your life from her constant negative criticism. It would also not be wrong of you to mention why you are protective of your life. She has to know that her negativity is very off-putting. Or, simply put, I'm not hiding him, Mom. I'm protecting him from you. Something like that. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. I hope you will enjoy the stories I had for you. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and all that stuff. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.